my daughter for school, and she has no pulse.
How old is she?
She's 16.
You said that she's non-responsive?
Yeah, her tongue's hanging out of her mouth.
Stay on the line. I'm transferring you to rural Metro.
Saturday, November 19th, 2016. Jill Walker rushed home. Her daughter Emma was supposed to be back by morning. She had plans with friends the night before. She'd gotten permission to stay out late. But Emma wasn't inside. She was standing in the front yard. Right next to her stood her ex, William Riley. Jill hit the brakes and got out fast. Her voice was firm, and told him that you're not supposed to be here. William didn't flinch. He said Emma had called him. Said she saw someone dressed in all black trying to get into the house. Said he checked everything. The backyard, the doors. No sign of anyone. Jill didn't argue. She told him to leave and he left. Inside the house. Jill looked at Emma. Emma said she was done with William, but when she thought someone was outside, he was the first to show up. Jill asked the question that mattered. How did you know someone was out there? Emma said she heard a knock. Then the doorbell. Jill paused. If someone's trying to break in, why would they ring the bell? Something didn't sit right. She told Emma they'd check the cameras. Maybe ask the neighbors too. From this moment, the story takes a sharp turn. A chilling act would shake the city of Knoxville and leave everyone asking how a girl so young could end up at the center of something so dark. The next morning, Sunday, November 20th. Emma was getting ready for work. It seemed like any normal morning, but behind the scenes, her parents had a plan. Jane and Mark Walker had already reviewed the security footage. What they found confirmed Emma wasn't imagining things. A man dressed entirely in black had been spotted near the house the night before. Now they followed her to work. Not just to protect her, but because of what she revealed about Friday night. Something dark. Something they couldn't ignore. Emma had spent that evening at a friend's house. Around 11:30 p.m., she received a message from a number she didn't recognize. It read, "Go to your car, alone. We have someone you care about." She immediately showed the text to Zach Green, one of the friends she was with that night. He took it seriously. So did the others. Together, they walked to where the cars were parked, and there, lying face down in a ditch near Emma's car, was William Riley. He claimed he had been taken, that he had just escaped. But something felt off. His story didn't add up. To everyone there, it looked like an act. Emma didn't say much. She turned away and went back into the house, angry. Her parents kept a quiet watch over her routine. To work, back home. Everything looked calm. That night, Emma was tired from her shift, but she still had homework to finish. She was texting her close friend Keegan Lyle. Her last message was simple. "Homework's done. I'm heading to bed." And this was the last time anyone heard from Emma Jane Walker. Monday morning, November 21st, 2016. Jill Walker woke up like it was any regular school day. She called out to Emma from the hallway. Once, then again. But there was no reply. Maybe she was just too tired from the night before. Jill walked to her daughter's room expecting to nudge her out of bed like usual. But what she found was silence. Emma wasn't moving. She wasn't breathing. And when Jill touched her, she felt it immediately. Her daughter's body was cold. No pulse. No sign of life. Panicking, she shouted for her husband. He rushed in, checked for any response, but what he saw confirmed their worst fear. Emma was gone. Within minutes, the 911 call was made. Police and paramedics arrived quickly. Emergency responders tried everything they could, but nothing changed. Emma didn't wake up. At first glance, it looked like a sudden, unexplained tragedy. But one of the paramedics noticed something off. Too much blood soaked into the pillow beside Emma's head. More than what you'd expect from natural causes. While that was happening outside the house, Nikki Booles was surveying the perimeter. She was documenting the scene, taking photos from every angle, until something strange caught her eye. 2 clean, precise holes in the wall of Emma's bedroom, right behind the headboard. She called over Lieutenant Alan Merritt, who went back inside, lifted the pillow, and took a closer look. That's when everything changed. The blood wasn't from her nose. Emma had been struck directly in the back of the head while she was asleep, while she never even had the chance to react. Another bullet had missed and lodged into the pillow. The Walkers' home was sealed off instantly. A quiet suburban house now turned into an active crime scene. The forensic team moved in, combing through every inch of space. In the backyard near the fence line, they found the evidence they were looking for. 2 shell casings lying in the grass, both fired from outside the house, aimed directly at Emma's bed. What had first looked like a personal tragedy was now the opening scene in a carefully planned act carried out in silence. The kind of case that doesn't just shock a family, it shakes an entire city. As soon as it became clear that Emma had been targeted while sleeping in her own bed, Jill Walker didn't hesitate for a second. She told investigators that there was only one person who could be responsible for something like this: her daughter's ex, William Riley. When asked why she was so certain, she walked detectives through the strange events of the weekend. Friday night at a friend's house, the threatening message from a hidden number, and then Saturday night, Emma's claim that someone dressed in all black was trying to break into their home. The police knew they had to verify that part first. Who was the man seen around the house in dark clothing? Was Emma telling the truth, or was someone trying to manipulate her fear? Investigators pulled footage from the Walkers' home security system. They also requested video from nearby houses. By this point, the news of Emma's death had spread quickly across Knox County, fast enough that neighbors were already talking, already looking through their own cameras for anything unusual. This wasn't just any case. It was Emma Walker, a girl who was known, liked, and trusted by nearly everyone. Her passing hadn't just created shock, it sparked a wave of sadness and a rising need for answers. While one team of officers focused on identifying the mysterious figure in black, another team was gathering testimony from Emma's classmates and close friends. Nearly all of them said the same thing. Emma had no enemies, no school drama, no rivalries. The only relationship that ever stood out was her on-again, off-again connection with William Riley. According to her friends, it had been rocky, complicated, and sometimes intense. That's when a new name entered the picture: Alex McCarty, a friend of William Riley's. He walked into the station and told officers that William had been acting strange online, posting dark emotional things. He was worried William might harm himself. But what caught the investigators' attention even more was what Alex said next. He told them William still had access to his grandfather's handgun, a weapon he was supposed to have handed over to his mother, but he never did. Alex explained that William had claimed he was taken by 2 people on Friday night, that he was scared and needed protection, so he stole the weapon. But when asked if they reported the alleged abduction to the police, Alex said William told his friend Noah not to involve anyone. That Friday night, William stayed over at Noah's house. No one knew if he'd really been kidnapped or if it was just a story. Noah admitted William seemed shaken, but said he couldn't tell if it was real or staged. At least now investigators had some pieces. They knew where William had been on Friday and on Saturday. But one gap remained: Sunday night. The night Emma was attacked. No one could say where William was, until Noah stepped forward again. He told police that William had messaged him late that night, asking one specific, chilling question: "How do you wipe fingerprints off a gun?" Noah thought it was weird. He asked if it was a joke. William said it was. But the timing couldn't be ignored, and just when detectives were starting to close in, a neighbor approached them with something unexpected. He had reviewed his security footage from that weekend. He wanted to help. Maybe the man in black who had scared Emma was caught on camera. The man didn't just have footage, he had a face. He told police that the figure walking near the Walker home, dressed in all black, was William Riley. He recognized him. He even waved to him as he passed. With that single detail, the case shifted. The shadow near Emma's house wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a stalker. It was someone she knew. Someone who had motive. and access to a stolen weapon. But before detectives could bring him in, they needed to understand the full story. Who was Emma Jane Walker? And what exactly had happened between her and William Riley? Because only by understanding the truth behind their relationship could they uncover what led to one of the most shocking acts Knox County had ever seen. Her name was Emma Jane Walker. She wasn't just another teenager in Knoxville. She was the kind of girl people remembered. 16 years old, bright, driven, with a smile that never stayed still for long. She was a standout student at Central High School, already planning her future. She wanted to become a neonatal ICU nurse, the kind of job that takes both brains and heart. Outside the classroom, she was just as focused. She made the varsity cheerleading team in her first year, something rare and not easily earned. She was the type who lifted everyone else just by walking into the room. In 2014, she started dating William Riley Gall, a football player, a senior. At first, he looked like the ideal match, polite, well-kept, and seemingly stable. To the people around them, it looked like a storybook high school relationship. But that image started to fall apart. As time passed, William changed. He got possessive, controlling. He didn't want Emma seeing her friends. He didn't like what she wore. His messages turned dark. One of them read, "You're dead to me. You'll end up in the obituaries." When her parents got involved and cut off his access to the house, he found a workaround, giving her an iPad so they could still message in secret. By the fall of 2016, Emma had finally had enough. She made the decision to walk away for good. This time it felt different. This time she was reclaiming her life. Riley couldn't handle that. When he realized she truly meant it, he tried to end his own life. But his friends stepped in and stopped him. After that, he kept trying to contact her. Emma ignored him, firmly, repeatedly. Detectives had now pieced together her story. They understood the pressure she was under, the fear, the way she tried to move on. Only one thing remained. They needed to speak to William Riley Gall. The first time William Riley Gall sat across from detectives, they didn't come at him with accusations. Not yet. They kept it calm, almost casual. They treated him like just another witness. They told him to talk about himself. Riley leaned back slightly in his chair and answered smoothly. He said he was a student at Maryville College, played football, cornerback, said he'd been focused on his classes lately, busy with schoolwork. Then came the real questions. Where were you on Friday night? He didn't hesitate, said he was at his friend Noah's house. A quiet night, nothing out of the ordinary. But what Riley didn't know was that the detectives had already spoken to Noah. And they already knew the part he conveniently left out, that before showing up at Noah's, he had gone to his grandfather's house, a detail Noah had shared. Next, the conversation shifted. What happened to you that night? We heard you told someone you were taken. Riley nodded, keeping his voice steady. He said he didn't know who they were, claimed he was taken by two strangers in a van, that they struck him in the head and dumped him in a ditch. It was a story full of gaps, convenient blanks. No one else had seen it happen. No one could confirm it. And most of all, he had never reported it. Then came the moment the room changed. Do you know what happened to Emma? He said, I've only heard rumors. Someone said she was hit by a stray bullet while she was sleeping. The air in the room went still. Detectives knew what this meant. Riley had just described the exact way Emma died, a fact not released publicly, a detail only someone close to the crime could possibly know. His calm was cracking. It was time to push. What about your grandfather's gun? Did you take it? And in this moment, the detectives will tell him that his friends already told the police that they knew he took his grandfather's gun.
Why does people say that you may have a gun?
I don't know.
I mean, they're your friends. I mean, they're your boys. They're your peeps. Why would they keep telling me that that you have a gun? Help me understand that. So is Alex, Isaac, and Noah is your three best friends?
Three of them, yes.
I mean, so you spent all weekend with Noah, correct?
We're close.
Okay.
Are they liars?
Are they dishonest? Everybody's a liar. No, not necessarily. Everybody lies. I don't know why they would lie or why they got that common misconception that
Would one of them have it?
The gun?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think one of them have it?
No.
Would somebody in your circle have it?
Nobody could get to it. My grandfather always kept it under his car or under the bed.
Once again, William Riley Gall slipped. Thinking he was being clever, he said something he shouldn't have. No one could steal my grandfather's gun. He keeps it in his bedroom, or sometimes under the driver's seat in his car. What he didn't realize was that in trying to cover his tracks, he'd revealed something more damaging. He knew exactly where the gun was usually kept. A detail you don't mention unless you've had access to it, or taken it. As the interview neared its end, the detectives decided to circle back one last time. Walk us through your Sunday night. They already knew the answer. They weren't asking because they needed him to fill in the gaps. They were testing him because they'd already spoken to his college roommate. That roommate told them that Riley didn't enter his dorm until 4:55 a.m. And even more damning, roughly 2 hours later, Riley sent a message over Snapchat, warning him not to speak to the police if they came asking questions. But Riley didn't know what the detectives knew. He said he'd tried reaching out to Emma that night, claimed she had been cold with him, told him it was over. Again. He said the rejection broke him, that he sat in his car for 3 hours, crying. Then drove back and went to sleep around 4:30 in the morning. Every detail was carefully told. But the cracks were there. The times didn't line up. The tone didn't match the stakes. Now the investigators were missing just one thing. The weapon, the same gun Riley's grandfather had officially reported stolen. The detectives ended the interview and let Riley walk out. For now. But it seemed Riley couldn't help himself. Almost immediately after leaving the station, he sent a message to his friend Alex, accusing him of talking to the police about the gun. Alex responded honestly. He said he was scared for Riley. He thought after Emma's death, Riley might hurt himself. That message, while incriminating, wasn't enough to prove Riley had fired the weapon, but it was enough to confirm he had it, and that he was hiding it. So the detectives came up with a new strategy. They would use Riley's friends. That very same day, the day Emma Walker lost her life, two of Riley's closest friends, Noah and Alex, were wired up with hidden microphones and tiny cameras. They knocked on his door. And this time, they weren't just checking on him. They were setting a trap.
They were playing the good cop, bad cop, bro. Like, they legit, like, I didn't know cops actually did that shit, and they did. I was like, I'm not lying.
Say it hits her in the stomach. Say somebody shot her on the wall, hit her in the stomach. She's going to wake up. You don't just get shot and lay there. Yeah, I don't see how she wouldn't scream or something, like anything. And she just laid, unless it was just like a ridiculous shot. If it hit her in the head, then they would have saw that. Well, they did, but you don't know. You don't know you're thinking about how she was found or when she was found. Because whenever you hear, exactly. Whatever they always knew it was whoever you hear it from could not be true. But I'm trusting you guys, like, with my life, because I mean, this is 70 years in jail if I get convicted of something I didn't do. And are you busy right now? Are you about to do anything? Well, can we go to the bluffs? Because I need to get rid of the gun. At the bluff. I'm gonna throw it in the water. They'll never find it. I just need Christ, dude. I guess that if it's in the Tennessee River, they will never find it. So that's why I just want to eliminate that from the equation as a whole. Basically, I mean, I feel you. That's your decision.
In the recording, William Riley Gall told his friend something that sounded honest, something that might have fooled anyone who didn't know better. "I trust you guys with my life," he said. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was, Riley knew by now that his friends had talked, that they'd told investigators about the stolen weapon. So he made a new calculation. If they had already said enough to put him in danger, he would drag them in deeper. He would make them part of it. And that way, they'd have a reason to stay silent. Riley didn't just admit he still had the gun. He asked for help getting rid of it. He wanted to erase the last piece of evidence that connected him to Emma Walker's final moments. And he wanted his friends to help him do it. What he didn't realize was that the entire conversation was being recorded. Every word, every move captured in full by hidden microphones and cameras planted by investigators. Roughly 30 minutes after that conversation ended, William Riley Gall was taken into custody. He never got the chance to dispose of the weapon, because in trying to erase the truth, he ended up handing it to the police himself. The trial of William Riley Gall began on Monday, April 30th, 2018, inside a courtroom in Knox County, Tennessee, more than a year after the quiet stillness of a teenage girl's bedroom had been shattered forever. Gall sat at the defense table beside his attorney Wesley D. Stone, who faced an uphill battle from the start. His argument to the jury wasn't about innocence, it was about intent. He claimed Gall didn't mean to end Emma Walker's life, that he only wanted to scare her, that it was a desperate gesture, a misguided attempt to win back someone who had already closed the door on him. But the prosecution had a different picture, a clearer one. Their message was sharp. They laid out a pattern of behavior that made the outcome feel inevitable. A relationship marked by control, obsession, harassment, a toxic bond that had unraveled into something fatal. They argued this wasn't a moment of madness. It was a plan. A targeted act of violence from someone who couldn't accept the word no. Piece by piece, the courtroom heard the full story. The stolen weapon, the friends who wore wires, the recorded confession, and the chilling trail of messages sent to Emma in the weeks leading up to her death. Messages filled with threats, warnings, final words dressed as emotional breakdowns. After 5 hours of deliberation, the jury returned its verdict. William Riley Gall was found guilty on multiple counts, including first-degree premeditated homicide, homicide committed in the course of a felony, stalking, tampering with evidence, theft, and possession of a firearm during a dangerous offense. The sentence was clear: life in prison, with the possibility of parole, only after 51 years behind bars. In June 2021, Gall attempted to appeal for a new trial, claiming legal errors had affected the outcome. But the court wasn't moved. His motion was denied. The evidence was too strong, the story too complete. Justice, by the letter of the law, had been served. But for the family of Emma Walker, and the community that once cheered her from the sidelines, closure was never going to come from a verdict alone.
Well, today marks a day to remember Emma Walker. The East Tennessee teen was shot and killed by her ex-boyfriend in 2016. Riley Gall was convicted of shooting and killing the Central High School student as she slept in her bed. Emma's 21st birthday would have been this week. Her family wants you to help honor her by doing something kind for someone else. They also plan to wear her favorite color, purple. And if you or someone you know is a victim of domestic abuse, there are resources that can help. The McNabb Center has a crisis line open 24/7. You can find a list of other resources right now on WBIR.com.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. See you in the next video.